Hey everybody, Stu Smith here going live. Hope you guys are well today. Today we're going to warm up as you guys congregate, discussing a little bit about building some mental preparation. We talk a lot about physical training, but there's a lot to uh, beyond the physical, and that becomes mental. Quite often, however, you can train the mental by just being very physical. So, what I mean by that is just by waking up in the morning and not feeling like getting up out of bed, but you do anyway. That is another scoop of mental resilience. And then you go and crush that workout and, push a little harder than you thought you would have. Another scoop of mental resilience and toughness. And that's what it takes. There's no real one stop and all of a sudden you are now mentally prepared or mentally tough. It really takes a lifetime of building these habits. It may start off with you being motivated to go do something, inspired to go do something, and that's great, but it doesn't really fuel you for later. And how that evolves is it turns into discipline only by some of those things I just mentioned, by waking up and getting something done, even when you don't feel like it, by creating these habits of this time is my workout time, this time is my swim time, and I am going to go get that done. And you do it. Um, those little inspiration evolving into habits, evolving into discipline is the key to what we're all asking. Like, am I mentally tough enough to handle this journey? And the next step is pushing yourself and getting something done, getting yourself better. A lot of people say 1% better every day. I like that one. It's a little vague, but it's really kind of guiding you towards whatever goal you are trying to achieve. But then there's always obstacles in the way somewhere. Like it may be, for instance, log PT, Hell Week, those, how do you handle going into a log PT session for the first time mentally, right? Are you fired up to do it? When you get in there, do you suddenly say, oh my God, I'm not prepared? Or do you say, this sucks, but I'm keeping on going? That is the mental toughness I'm talking about. And even if you feel like you're getting crushed, you just don't stop and you don't quit. That's huge, right? It's very hard to teach that, right? It does help to be exposed to it, but if you're not exposed to it, you can still get through it. You just have to be really sure of why you're doing this in the first place, right? You really want to do this. And then if you come up with some BS answer like, yeah, it's just not what I wanted. Well, no shit. Log PT is not what anybody wants to do for a career, right? It is the key for you to get to where you want to be. So, make sure you're going in for the right reasons. Most people who go into spec ops programs, especially like right off the street boot camp and then spec ops selection, the Navy does it, Air Force does it. Army and Marines are a little bit better because they have a process. You have to go through infantry school after boot camp. Their boot camps are harder. There's not this deconditioning and rebuilding after basic training for the Air Force and the Navy. So they have a little more logical progression in their training, but for the most part, if you're coming in there right off the street, just finished boot camp, now you're going through selection. Here's the truth that a lot of people don't like to talk about. And to be honest with you, 1/3 of the people that show up to that class, they don't belong there in the first place. right? They're just so underprepared, immature, and didn't really do their research and understand why they're even doing this. Some recruiter said, "Hey, you ought to try out for SEAL training. You got a good ASVAB score." And then you say, "Well, what do I have to do? What's the PST?" You're way far behind if that's you, right? It's to catch up from there is a miracle. Every now and then I've seen it, 1 out of 100 maybe, but it is rare. Your athletic history really has to drive what's going on. Um, so, the 1/3 don't belong. 1/3 is probably going to quit or get injured, and then the other third will make it. That is the typical class, and it might be off 5 or 10% here or there every year, but it is pretty darn close to 3 groups of people in there. But it's not your job to run people out either. Your job is to get through, help people get through, be their buddies, be their swim buddy, be a good team member, and push through it. So I know I've kind of went on a little tangent there, but there's a lot to take in whenever you go into this, and it's hard to teach what mental toughness is in a 5-minute introduction. In fact, I have a link to some more articles that I have discussed and podcast where we have discussed in depth what mental toughness and ways to build it and things like that. If you look in the description of this video, you will see it. And if you're over here on Instagram, I'm over here on YouTube, and this video will be up for good. On Instagram, it doesn't stay on there for very long. Got some good questions here. I'm going to answer these questions that I see real quick, and it can be whatever you want. It can be about the same topic I just introed, or it can be something else. I do have some CSS videos that I also want to show, so we'll be sharing some of those as well. Been feeling under the weather the past few days. Pushed myself out of bed to get back into the gym this morning before I went to work. Nice work. Now, there is a fine line between when do I do this and push through it, or I'm so sick I need to just rest, right? So if you're throwing up, feeling crappy, got the flu, don't get other people sick. Stay home, stay in bed. If you got a fever, stay home, stay in bed. If you got a little head cold, stuffy nose and all that stuff, go work out. If it's in your lungs and you're coughing a lot, that's just going to spread more germs. Plus, it's overworking your heart when your lungs congested. So, pull back a little bit. Maybe go a little bit easier. Maybe turn that into a mobility day if you feel like you want to do something. But if you get your heart rate up too high, you start coughing. Been there many times. So yeah, I mean, you want to do something. What I usually do is this: is if I'm borderline sick, I will get up anyway, go to the workout, try to do the warm up. If I make it through the warm up and I'm like, okay, I feel a little better, I'll do the workout. Maybe cut a little bit off of it. If I get through that warm up and I'm like, I feel worse, I may turn that workout into a mobility day, or I may just say, you know what, guys, you're on your own today. I'm going home. I've rarely done that. Maybe, I don't know, once a year, but it happens. Give yourself a break too, especially when you're that sick. You need rest. Mr. Smith, will you be able to see the recording of this session somewhere? Yeah, my internet is pretty spotty right now. Yes, absolutely. You go to my YouTube channel, and all these lives I do on Monday and Tuesday are there forever. So you can see what we're talking about. Wake up every day and have a routine, micro wins to keep the motivation. Yep. Those little wins do help. Any tips on continuing to put on size while cutting run times this winter? Food advice for USNA. Food at the academy is pretty good, I thought. I haven't eaten there in a while, so maybe it has changed. But you can get as much food as you want. That's nice. And Um, and then yeah, supplement if you need it. I mean, I always had food in my room too, peanut butter, you know, extra calories, protein powder if you need it, especially if you feel like your protein's not adequate. Shipping in February with a 715 PST score. That's good. I've currently been redoing 12 weeks to buds. Would you recommend hitting the weights more frequently before shipping out? Well, it depends. If you need to work on your strength, yes. But if you come at this with you're a strength athlete, chances are you just need to stay focused on your cardio and your calisthenics, just to focus on your endurance and your muscle stamina, your overall work capacity. Because if you came in with a strength background, you're durable and strong enough already, most likely. But my advice is use that assessment tool I have online. If you look up, go to Google, assessment tool, Spec Ops, Stu Smith, and you will see physical assessment tool for to and through Spec Ops selection. It's just an article, and it's got a chart in there about all the different lifts that I recommend you be good at doing. I'll post this in here for you guys over on Instagram. It's over here on YouTube as well. Check those out. But it kind of depends. Your PSTs are good enough already. Work your shoulders. Yeah. Do some overheads. Get ready for log PT, stuff like that. A lift cycle may not hurt you. It won't hurt you, but just depends on what you really need. All right, 27 years old, 40 sit-ups, 22-minute swim, 11-minute run, stress fractures right now. Can't do push-ups and pull-ups right now, but working up my arm strength. Is it possible to hit Navy SEAL numbers in a year? In a year, yes, it's possible, but stress fracture is not going to help you. My advice is make sure you are getting plenty of hard cardio. That means hard swimming. Your swim's horrible, so learn how to swim first. That's good cardio for you. That's not going to hurt your legs. And then remainder of your cardio time should be on a bike, pedaling hard, not just like driving through a park. Pedal hard, work those legs. But it is possible. Seen it happen. I know you have to build up to it. Not sure if it's physically impossible to hit those standards in less than a year as someone that hasn't worked out since high school. Damn. Woo. Yeah, you need to lose some weight too. I mean, it's a stretch. It may take you 18 months, to be honest with you, now that you filled me in with you haven't done damn thing since high school. So, your chances to overtrain are way too high. So, you have to gradually progress into all of this. You probably got a stress fracture because you jumped right into it way too soon. That's what happens. These aren't necessarily the best exercise to test yourself on for SOF programs, but what would you say a good 400 and a good 5K time is? Well, if you, I think on that assessment tool, we have a 3-mile run and a 400-meter run in there as part of our assessment. We try to run a 400, like one lap fast, and see if you can get it in under 60 seconds. That's kind of our gold standard, if you will. Some guys are, mid 50s on it, which is really good. The 5K time, if you can flirt, be honest with you, we don't do 5Ks. We just do 3-milers. So it's a little bit longer than a 3-mile run. But, our goal time for that is 18 minutes, 18 to 18:30 for a 5K. Now, that's above average, going to put you in the top 10, 20% of the class type scores. I'm assuming that's what you want. Don't necessarily need those scores, but it will make life a little bit easier for you if you can hit that 3-miler in 18 to 19 minutes. How many miles running daily is enough for airborne exercises? Going to airborne was not that tough. If you do 2 miles a day, you're going to be airborne ready. So 10 miles a week even. Thoughts of tactical barbell program. You know what? I don't know enough about it to say yes or no, but I'm not in the business of telling people that their programs aren't good or are great. I'd be honest with you, I don't know. I would say, as with any program, pretty much, if you do it, you're going to see results. So, I always tell people I have a way to train, not the only way to train. So, if you have another way to train and it's working for you, good job. All right, let's see. Got shin splints. Any tips or tricks? There's no tips or tricks for shin splints. You just need rehab and be smart and don't run too much. If you do a Google search, Stu Smith, shin splints, I got 2 articles on there that will help you. One of them I wrote with a doctor of physical therapy who's really good, and he breaks it down for you very, very smart manner. If your sole focus is to get sub 9 on the PST swim, should you do the 50-50 every day or follow the swims in phase 1 program? Good question. 50-50 is just, the phase 1 program has 50-50s in it. So, except for leg days where we swim with fins. So, 50-50 is a great workout. I tell people, I share that with people because it works so well. If you want to do it every day, you can. I would just, on leg days, I would swim with fins just to get your legs ready for swimming with fins. CSS question. I can't quite get my recovery timing quite right. Should I be opening my legs for the kick as I am pulling the bottom arm, or do I wait until both arms have finished their pulls to kick? Yeah, I'm going to show you some videos and we'll be able to break that down real easy. But it goes top arm, bottom arm, and you start opening your legs as you are recovering to glide position. You don't open your legs during a bottom arm pull. But I'll show it to you. I got a really good CSS for you. Somebody asked, is blood pressure medication an immediate no-go for buds? Yeah, I think so. I don't know, but I would say yes. That's a guess, so don't take my answer as doctrine. Wonder if I should buy the fitness for 50 to help me get back into exercising safely at being 27. Well, you know what? I have people in their 60s and 70s doing that workout, and they're very advanced. Also have had people younger do that workout as well, the 41. My advice would be, for where you are, go with the calisthenics and cardio program, because there's a lot of there's a beginner intermediate program there where you can replace all running with biking. It shows you how to do it. Swimming's in there. I would go, for you, Leo, calisthenics and cardio. It's a really good one. All right, let me show some CSS videos, because you guys are on top of it today with questions, so I appreciate that. Let me see. I got one here that I have not reviewed yet. So all right, you guys can see this one. So this one was just sent to me this morning. I sent it over. CSS review. Kick off the wall, little dolphin kick, top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Come on, get those feet in there. Let me see the video. Can't tell what's up with that kick. Oh, the kick looks good. You're going somewhere. See how you're gliding? You can hold that glide a little longer after that kick, though. If you count it, let's count it. So if you pull, breathe, kick, hold that glide. Pull, breathe, kick. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. So you're pulling on 1. You should be pulling on 3. So that's the biggest issue. You're undergliding, wasting momentum from what I see is a very good kick. You could be gliding another second easy, another second or two, and get at least a yard and a half off of that and reduce your stroke count probably by 5 in this swim. So that's a good swim. Not bad. Not bad overall. All right, let's go into this one. Can't remember what this one is. This was not a good one, as I recall. Let me make this a little bigger. All right, so this one is an awkward kick. He basically he's trying to do a scissor kick, but it is a broken pair of scissors. Notice how far he goes after he kicks. I mean, not even a foot. So there's going to be a lot of strokes to get across this pool. In fact, I think it's like a 45-second 25. So that's not good. So yeah, we got to fix that kick. So there's an article I have on my website called CSS Help Fix My Kick. And if you look, your top leg needs to go forward and your bottom leg needs to go back, but it looks like you start off like a scissor kick and you're trying to do a really bad breaststroke kick. So you're going nowhere. So my advice is I'm going to show you a drill that you can do to fix this. And it requires you putting on fins and actually doing scissor kicks. Top leg forward, bottom leg backwards, and they come like a parallel pair of scissors, right? If you don't do that, you're not going to be swimming. Shit. You're not going to be able to do this swim for very long. Let me see, where did I do it? Okay, so I think this is the drill. So I want to show you guys this one. This one's a really good one. And this is how you're going to fix your CSS. Well, this is one way to fix it. It's not the way I thought it was. If you notice, he's just doing a bunch of little flutter kicks, which I don't want you doing little flutter kicks with the CSS without fins. I want you doing a big scissor kick. So what you would do is you do a big scissor kick here and glide, not doing these constant flutter kicks. But let me just backtrack a little bit. This is a great way to swim with fins. Kick off the wall, do a little dolphin kick, get the momentum going, and he probably didn't need to do 3 of them. I usually do just one, and then you just do small to medium-sized flutter kicks, and you just stay in this glide position while you're flutter kicking, and then use your arms when you need to breathe. All right, but I will promise you this. You practice swimming with fins, it's going to fix your scissor kick, because you can't do what you're doing when you try this awkward scissor breaststroke kick combo. You can't do that with a pair of fins on. You have to hit that front leg, your bottom part of your foot is pushing water down, and that back leg, your top part of your foot is pushing water down. And they come in the middle and snap. Hopefully I have another video of this guy, because this is one of my favorite swimmers. He's a non-swimming athlete who just kills it. In fact, I'm going to show it to you right now, because it's this good that you just got to watch. If you want to see a perfect CSS, this is it. And it takes 43 seconds to do a lap, so, and 5 strokes per length. So I just posted this up on Instagram so you can see the full voiceover of me talking about this. So notice this: top arm, bottom arm, kick, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, boom. So he's so streamlined that he can actually keep gliding past my 3 Mississippi recommendation. So if you're undergliding and pulling on 1, watch this.
Yeah, I didn't add anything.
Got a good kick. See that streamline there? Biceps on your ears, arms locked out. That's a tight streamline. Boom. Every time he gets into that tight streamline. That's what makes him fast in this one. He's got a good kick, good arm pull, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Yeah, it doesn't get any better than this one. I'll show it one more time. And you notice he's not doing a breaststroke pullout. So the first time I timed him, he did a breaststroke pullout. It was like 43 seconds. The second time I timed him without the breaststroke pullout, it was 43 seconds. So that breaststroke pullout is not really needed in this guy to make him faster.
Didn't add anything to you.
So test it. If you want to see if your breaststroke pullout is helping you go faster, see if it is. If it's just making you winded because you're missing a breath on that length every time, I mean, that's 20 fewer breaths per 500 if you're in a 25-yard pool. So it does matter. So anyway, he's one of my favorite swimmers. He's getting ready to ship here soon. All right, looks like we got another video here. Let's see. I think this is just a guy who likes to swim. And he said, hey, can you look at my CSS and see what you think? So he's not trying to go to buds or anything. He just likes doing a side stroke. So top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. So he has an awkwardly big kick compared to the other guy who had a smaller kick. You can make this kick a little smaller, but it's producing some decent power. One thing you need to do, though, is don't pop your head up and breathe. So mix in some freestyle swimming here so you can turn to breathe versus pop up to breathe. And I think you'll feel a lot better. So my advice is like do a 25 freestyle, then do a 25 side stroke, and see, apply that to your swimming. At least the turn to breathe of freestyle is the exact same thing you're going to be doing on the first part of the CSS. You're going to pull and turn to breathe, and then you're, instead of coming in here like overhead recovery, you're going to be pulling that bottom arm, inhaling, then kicking, gliding. So that's the difference between freestyle and CSS, but that turn to breathe are the exact same. I think that's all I have over there on my any advice for training land po? Yes. Land portage. That means running with boats. Running with boats on your head or in your hands. My advice is ruck with on the sand. That's what we do. So every Friday you may see pictures of us on the beach. We're doing usually a 2 to 3 mile run, a 2 to 3 mile ruck, and then we'll swim right afterwards with fins. Or right now it's starting to get like 55 degrees, so probably done swimming without wetsuits out there. So instead of changing into wetsuits, we'll actually run with sandbags on our shoulders. Some people put them on their heads. Yeah, that's not necessary, but you can. And we also have a boat. So the guys bought a boat, and we run a 4-person boat for about 100-pound IBS. So we actually practice it with a boat. But if you don't have a boat and 4 other dudes to run with you, my advice is ruck it. Ruck on the beach. And then if you don't have a beach, put on your ruck or a weight vest, and then get to a stair stepper machine. Practice the stair stepper. So in fact, there's an article here that I wrote a while back ago about using a stair stepper to prepare for load bearing spec ops stuff. Someone just asked, how important is the NSW PFT? Are you talking about the PST for candidates? Well, there's 2 of them. There's one that you take as a candidate, and if you don't pass it, you're not going to buds. So that's pretty important. Then there's one that you take in the teams, and if you don't pass it, that's pretty embarrassing. Like, nobody in our team even came close to failing those things. You're starting to become less of an asset when you fail that, and it's not something you want to do ever if you're an active duty SEAL to fail the fitness test, unless there's a real good reason, like you've been injured. All right, so looks like we got all those answered over there. Let's see, got some more questions. Did you see that swim, Nick, if you're still around? Um, did you see that swim timing? Did that make sense for you? Hatherley Press, good to see you. I'm assuming that's Andrew? All right. Thank you. Let's see. What else we got? Hey, Stu, it's Allie. I'm in the airport. Oh, Ali. Yeah, airport going to recon training. I'm looking like 1 and 2 months in the Mart PTing till I pick up prep course. Nice. Go get them, buddy. Let's see. Wouldn't be here without you. Oh, thanks, man. Um, Hey, Stu, I'm having some problems with the egg beater. I can't seem to get my left leg to open all the way, and it creates an awkward imbalance when I tread. Any tips? Yes. It's a mobility issue. In fact, I wrote an article just for you called Your Treading May Be a Mobility Issue. In fact, I'm going to put it in the Google machine and show it to you right here. Check out these stretches in this article. It's basically a frog pose that transitions into a vertical frog pose. So check out that article. I promise you it works. And the way we do it is we do like 5 minutes of treading. Do as much as you can. Egg beater, switch to scissor kicks, left, scissor kick rights if you need to, breaststroke kick. And then you do 5 minutes of stretching using this stretching pose in that article. That will help you. It's going to probably take you 2 to 3 weeks to really build the mobility that you need in your hips, knees, and ankles to produce enough power. But read that article and it will explain to you what the egg beater is. I will be honest with you. I got through buds not knowing what the egg beater was. Never heard of it, right? I heard some people talking about it. Usually at that time, only water polo players knew what the egg beater was. I did it with scissor kick left, scissor kick right, scissor kick left, scissor kick right. Probably not the best way to do it, but as long as you go into treading knowing it sucks and you've practiced it enough to where you can endure that it being challenging mentally and physically, you should be good. Where people screw up on treading is they just never practice it because they said, oh, treading, that's easy. I swim all the time. That should be easy. And then they start treading and start almost drowning and they realize they should have practiced treading. So treading is not an easy thing, especially if you're a lean guy, more muscle than fat, you're going to sink and it just requires more effort for you to tread. Let's see here. Looks like I answered all these questions. Got all these over. No other questions? Okay, so hello, sir. What should someone do after the 12 weeks to buds to keep that fitness level? Well, always say this, fitness is not a destination. It is a journey where you just keep on moving. It's up to you. It depends on what that goal is after you do that 12 weeks to buds workout. You may want to do it again, especially if you felt like you missed some of the workouts or had to alter them too much with reps and mileage, things like that. May want to do it again. However, you may want to take a break from all the calisthenics and cardio and do a lift cycle. Go into a fall, winter lift cycle. It's perfect timing for that. About the late fall right now, get into a good lift cycle and finish up in the spring and then come out. You can do a little block periodization model lift cycle where you do 3 weeks of lifting, 1 week of cals and cardio. So if you like the 12 weeks to buds workout, which it's a great calisthenics and cardio workout, I don't sell it. You can go to Amazon though to get it. Um, so you can use that. You can use your lift cycle for 3 weeks, whatever that is, whatever you prefer it to be, or you can use one of these lift cycles. And then that fourth week of that cycle, you go back to a cows and cardio week. And we call it kind of a cows and cardio deload. Well, actually, it's a weightlifting deload while we do something else, working on cows and cardio. And every fourth week we do that. And I have seen some huge improvements. Not only did people get strong, did they gain weight, but they maintained and sometimes even improved mile-and-a-half scores, 4-mile time run scores, calisthenic scores. It was a great way to kind of have a primary focus for those 3 weeks, a secondary focus for that 1 week, put them together in a 12-week season. So you're getting 9 weeks of strength training, 3 weeks of cows and cardio spread about, over 12 weeks. And it was shocking how good it was. So I will say this isn't set up that way. This is set up as a full lift cycle for the whole 12 weeks. There's no real like cows deload in it, but still works. I just saw better improvement with the block periodization model that we used lately, like this one, seasonal tactical fitness periodization, for the fall and winter lift cycles. And then we do the same thing in the summer. We flip it upside down, where our primary focus in the summer is 3 weeks of cows and cardio, but there's a 1 week lifting maintenance, which it's also a deload for us from some of the mileage, some of the high reps, take a little deload week. And that has helped everybody maintain, especially those hard gainers, over the winter lift cycle. That maybe they put on 10 pounds over the winter lift cycle and didn't want to lose it. That fourth week of lifting in that summer cows and cardio cycle was very helpful for people maintaining their weight that they had and strength. All right, let's see. Looks like got all those answered over there. What else we got over here? Okay, so last question, looks like. Hey, Stu, what would you say to someone who wanted to get back into fitness with your winter lift cycle, but they'll just lower the volume to a point where they can manage? Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with taking a program, because remember, these are generic programs. They're not personalized for you. You may have to personalize them. That means you may have to cut the reps, cut the sets, cut the mileage, um, take out the swimming altogether, replace it with something else. It's kind of up to you how you want to make those adaptations. In fact, I wrote an article just for you on how to do that. And it kind of depends on, your goals and your abilities when you take up one of these programs. Especially if you take up a program. I just put the link in the article. It's called Test Article. If you click that, it'll show you how to do it. But these are generic programs with specific goals, if that makes sense. So it's not your typical generic program where you're just lifting to lift. It is specific goals in a generic program that I know work well. So it's up to you, depending on your fitness level, your athletic history, your time per day, days per week, your equipment that you have available. All of those things can determine how you might need to make some adjustments to any workout plan you do, whether one of mine or someone else's. Just be smart about how you make those changes. Try to do a bulk of the system within the workout, but if you have to change 10 reps to 5 reps, or 5 miles to 3 miles, whatever that is, that's fine. Just keep note, and then whenever you come around to the end and you want to repeat it this time maybe in full, you might be more capable of doing it a second time around. A lot of people are like that. All right, I was wrong. Looks like this is the last question. Hey, quick question for you. How lean should you go into boot camp? I'm currently 6% body fat. That's way too lean if you ask me. Would that be too lean, or is it better to go in lean as possible? You're just going to get leaner. So my advice is you're going to need more body fat than that, especially if you're trying to go to buds. You're going to be cold with 6%. So I'd try to get up to 10%, be honest with you. That's going to be hard to do depending on your timeline. So, but muscle mass also keeps you warm too. So put on some muscle, put on some bulk. You need one of those lift cycles that doesn't have running in it, and just lift big and eat big. You'll put on some weight. That's my advice. 2 months, that's hard to do. I mean, most people don't gain more than a pound a week anyway, so you might be able to get 8 pounds in you in 2 months. So good luck there. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up real quick. If I missed your question, email me, stu@stewsmith.com. Happy to answer that email back. Send me videos. That way, I'll usually send you a video back with critique in it. And what else? Check out stewsmithfitness.com. Save 15%. Live 15 coupon code if you're still around. I appreciate your time. I will be back next week. And if you're just signing on over here on Instagram, this whole show is saved over here on YouTube if you want to find the whole show. So, all right, we'll see you next week. You guys have a good one.